Well, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day and or night. I am just getting everything set up over here. We will get right to it in a moment. Well, it is good to see you folks once again. Looks like it's time for a little doom here. Happy International Women's Day, ladies. But unfortunately, we must focus on a bunch of doom as usual. So I suppose we better get right to it. Okay. I still have some sound coming from this. Cut that out. Okay. Well, looks like it's time for some doom, folks. I'm gonna start with American-shaped doom here. Oh wait, what was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna do this, but I feel like because I didn't stream yesterday, I'm gonna skip this because while it's funny, I do feel like I am pressed for time. I have so much stuff to deal with right now. We are in trouble, folks. Okay, we're gonna start in America. Let's do it this. Maltese Falcon, 1950s. Yeah. TikTok. 100%. Okay, this is a CNN video. You may have heard the news, but a bill just passed, I believe, in Congress first, and it would serve to either ban TikTok or force them to cut ties with the Chinese government. So let's watch this. Whoops, wrong one. There we go.
Influencers
Oh, that's
beware.
quiet.
Today, a House committee voted on a bipartisan bill that could effectively ban the app in the United States. If it gets passed by the entire House, then goes to the Senate, then the president signs it into law. The legislation would force...
You got a birthday in chat? My God. Amazing. Amazing. Happy birthday. Who is it, Vincent? Vincent Morales? Well, happy birthday, sir. Do I have something good for this? This is all I got for you. Oh, wait for it. I muted it. I forgot I muted it.
He looks good, and he looks hard.
I don't know why this is happening. It's actually bugging me. I know there's a way to stop this, but they updated the software. These bastards. You're just glad to be spending it with us? Oh, it's a beautiful sentiment. You want me to sing? I could sing happy birthday and call you Mr. President. Happy birthday, Mr. President Vincent Morales. Happy birthday, Mr. President Vincent Morales. It doesn't really flow so well, but happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Okay, now we're getting back to serious, but no, that's awesome. So super glad someone's celebrating their birthday today, and we all got to enjoy it in such a strange fashion.
TikTok influencers beware. Today, a House committee voted on a bipartisan bill that could effectively ban the app in the United States. If it gets passed by the entire House, then goes to the Senate, then the president signs it into law. The legislation would force ByteDance, that's the name of TikTok's parent company, to sever ties with its host country, China, or be banned from U.S. app stores. The lawmakers behind the bill say apps that are controlled by foreign adversaries such as China collect way too much information on the Americans who use the apps, and pose security risks to the United States. Joining us now, Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher and Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy. They're the co-authors of the bill. Mr. Chairman, let me start with you. There are more than 170 million TikTok users in the U.S. It's one of the most popular apps in the world. What do you say to them if the U.S. ends up banning TikTok?
There's right now there's probably, I feel like I'm being conservative on this number, but there's 50,000 TikTok creators who are sweating right now, just watching this with fervor, oh my God, if my TikTok gets banned, oh my God.
As I'm sure you've heard from a lot of them today, they are worried. They love TikTok.
Well, we hope that they will continue to be able to use the platform once TikTok makes the responsible decision to separate itself from ByteDance. TikTok can continue to exist in the United States as long as it's not effectively controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. That is the issue, and that will make for a better user experience. People won't have to worry about manipulation of algorithms. They won't have to worry about a hostile foreign adversary potentially manipulating the news that Americans consume.
I gotta look at the numbers.
A hostile.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Potentially manipulate.
That's a lot.
About manipulation.
Hold on, that is nuts. 5 million businesses use TikTok, and 170 million people have it and apparently use it. I don't know what it's just blank users, so I assume it's just anybody who has an account. But man, that's a lot.
Of algorithm, you won't have to worry about a hostile foreign adversary potentially manipulating the news that Americans consume. And I would say the pressure campaign that TikTok put in place today, where they forced a pop-up on the app that called members of Congress and also told a lie that we were forcing an outright ban, which this bill is not, proves the danger. They sort of prove the entire point. Imagine if those lies were allowed to spread on topics like our election or a foreign war. So that's what we're trying to guard against. And in our construct, users can continue to enjoy the app so long as we fix the ownership problem.
Wow. Pitchfork's Dragon looks really concerned about TikTok. Free market drop shipments. Yeah, exactly. Fun stuff. Well, that's really all I wanted to do, just to catch up on what the fuck is happening out there. Starting it off slow and easy. We are going to make our way into what I'm pretty sure you've all seen pieces of, most likely, but we're going to lead it up with something different than maybe some people have. The State of the Union happened last night. I decided to not stream because there was about 30,000 people streaming. Seemed like the time to not do it. So let's hit this up real quick. But before we get to the State of the Union, let's watch this video from Status Quo News showing the ceasefire protesters who attempted to block Biden from getting to the State of the Union address. So hold on, let me just back it up one time. There we go. Oh, well, a lot of people in chat already today. It's quick. Okay.
All right, guys, we are live on Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House, where a coalition of activists are blocking the road to try and prevent the motorcade from reaching the Capitol. Smash that like button, share this stream right now. Let me get up here. Guys, make sure you share this stream. There's going to be hundreds of arrests tonight.
All right, I'm going to skim through this a little bit because we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I just wanted us to get a clear picture of how the protest went. You couldn't find a fuck to give about TikTok. Morbius was in so many chats that it started to hurt. Vincent Morales even visited Roland Martin. Okay, that was probably a fun time. You give these people props because you would rather not physically exert yourself in order to protest. Yeah, it takes effort to protest. 100%. 100%. Okay. Let's see. Where's a good spot here? I think right here maybe. Probably another good spot to start.
Liar, people want a ceasefire. You're a liar, people want a ceasefire.
Wait, does Roland Martin have like member only chat? That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't even realize he was quite that big. I knew he was big, but damn. Damn. Member only chat. How are you? Even Hassan doesn't have member only or subscriber only chat. There's another thing in this protest I want to see. I just want us to see just bits and pieces. There's a couple of things I thought were especially poignant. Where is this guy? Did a fucking great rap. Where's this dude? I think this is the dude. Am I right? Oh, no, no. It's right here.
You guys know that it was reported that Biden is 15 to 20 minutes late to the Capitol because of this protest. Like I mentioned before, they had to take a detour, take a different route to the Capitol because this is Pennsylvania Avenue, which is on the avenue that we're on now. This is the route from the White House to the Capitol. But the motorcade had to take a different route to get to the Capitol.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
This is for that kid in Gaza, searching for Superman, but sees Apache copters dropping bombs that shake the land. Whoa, damn, this is preposterous. Open air prisons hit with clouds of white phosphorus. The rocket took his father, the shrapnel had hit his sister, Big Brother became a martyr to fight off unwanted visitors. And you know where we stand. Resist. Respect that ish, because you ain't getting hit, and if you were, I'm sure you probably think the opposite. In fact, you know what, I'm pretty positive. Logic is safety should be most of our prerogatives, but most of us are operatives to profit off this monolith. And in 1948, didn't hesitate to shoot, displaced most our population's time and time from their roots. Then they tried to hide the proof. Looks like 1492. Different time, different place, the same white supremacist rule. Now I'm living in a land where the land sees me as an enemy, no liberty. If you ought to be, then I guarantee that the FBI got an eye on the people who they set to spy. House arrest, stop and frisk, fund occupation through the colleges. BDS, yes, BDS, and they hit you with the claim you a terrorist? On the terror list, on the precipice, drone take out another nemesis, weapons tested in the Gaza Strip, sold to our pigs and they copy it. What the F seen every day? Views on the news getting us played. We gotta mobilize, we gotta organize, and if one dies, then another 10 will rise.
Hold on, I gotta pause this. Is this lagging for everybody right now? I'm like looking at my monitor right now, like like my iPad, that so that I can see what everybody else is seeing. And it does not look good. Is everybody else lagging, or is it just me? Oh, I'm mowing up. Good to see you. Good to see you. Press 1 if it's been lagging. We're just gonna keep playing this for now. Just so we're not just sitting here.
From Turtle Island to Palestine with self-determination, we'll replant every tree, rebuild every home, and until we see that day, our resistance lives on.
Oh, I just realized something. Hold on. I have a bunch of programs that are running that shouldn't be running. Fuck me. That's on me. Sorry, chat. One, it has been lagging. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Hopefully this solves it. If it doesn't, then we got a problem. But I might have to reset this. I might have to restart the stream. So, fingers crossed, everybody. Let's hope this works.
Francisco Bay Area. I have family in the Gaza Strip. And for the last 5 months, every day our lives are filled with death, uncertainty, hopelessness. But the solidarity that we've seen nationally, the courage we're seeing from the people behind me, that is what inspires hope. That is what inspires hope for our families, for our movements, for our communities, not just for Palestine, but for everybody. This is the fate of the Union. Will we continue to funnel tax dollars?
It's looking better to me, chat. Press 1 again if it's working now for you. It is working. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Don't have to press 1. Morbius was on it. Great. Okay,
It's a
perfect.
militarism, occupation, and genocide? No. No. Or can we envision a future filled with dignity and self-determination for all? Yes. We are here today because we are absolutely disgusted in the actions of our government. If he had the political will, President Biden could end this genocide today. The majority of Americans and the rest of the world demand a ceasefire, and we demand an end to aid to Israel. This is money that should be used on affordable housing, on affordable health care, on robust education. Instead, the Biden administration chooses to fund death. And you can claim that you're horrified by what you see as much as you like, but as long as you continue to fund genocide, those concerns are nothing but empty words. We call that hakifali. So how many Palestinian deaths will satisfy you? Another 30,000? 50,000? 100,000? The Biden administration is the genocide administration. And genocide is the highest form of racism. So clearly we have no problem with supporting fascism abroad, and we well know that it has its repercussions here in the United States. For 75 years, we've had to endure settler colonial violence, and we are here today to show the people, to show the world, show the world that the people stand with Palestine in their dignity, in their struggle for dignity and liberation, and we are witnessing history in the making. Long live international solidarity! Long live Palestine!
Okay, now there's a bunch more of that. There's 2.5 hours of that, but since I have so much stuff to look over today, because I skipped yesterday, not going to watch the whole thing. I was considering watching it at like 1.25 or something like that, or at least a bunch of it, but not going to happen, unfortunately, people. But if you do want to watch the rest of that video, that was Status Coup News, who I think most of you are probably subscribed to already, but if you're not, go check out that channel. They're doing God's work over there. Okay, what next? Nightbot getting in there. Okay, next video is, oh yes, we're just gonna quickly graze over some of the State of the Union here, but really not my cup of tea. Hi, yeah, good to see you. I think you got to go over here now. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna pat myself. Richard Blumenthal down there. I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah. I can't really move, so I'm just gonna nod my head. Oh, good. I don't know your name. But Flower? Your name's Flower? Okay. Okay. There's just so much bullshitting over here. I'm pretty sure there's about a full hour of bullshit that goes on here. There's 45 minutes of bullshit. Oh, and then we get to the real bullshit. Great.
Our freedom and democracy been under assault at home.
Oh, this is hella quiet.
What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to.
I mean, I feel like we've been standing like arm's length of Ukraine this whole time, and that's why Russia's been so successful in what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can just keep kind of funding a perpetual war. I do think, even though there's some serious ramifications to it, that at some point soon, somebody needs to say, okay, we're going to control Ukrainian airspace. That's just me. Because it's out of hand. It's been going, technically, this whole fucking Ukraine situation has been going on for 10 years. Okay? The first Ukraine invasion happened in Crimea, and what is it, Sevastopol? No, whatever. But Crimea was the main objective of Russia 10 years ago, and then they started going out from there. We could have done something then too, and I'd point out that Biden was also kind of in charge back then too.
That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers.
I'm pretty sure that's the only time Mike Johnson claps, when it's like, yay, war.
In fact, there are no American soldiers in war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now,
Biden really loves Republican stuff. Republican presidents of years past, current Republican policies, which, as you've all probably heard during this speech, says some absolutely nonsense things about.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, weird. I mean, I agree with that, right? But, you know?
There's no point in you betraying your future self to gratify your present self. It's a stupid game.
It is a stupid game. Jordan Peterson is right. Old Petey over there. I mean, come on. Like, he's about, at some point during this speech, he talks about Palestine, right? I'm pretty sure, because I have a video saved that we're actually about to switch over to. Because I feel like he's been basically saying, oh, Benjamin, you do whatever you want. No big deal. Now, I don't know if he said that verbatim, but policies certainly said it. And sometimes actions are louder than words. I heard that one time from, I want to say, a mom. Hashtag moms. Okay, what are we doing? Yes. Biden on Gaza. Let's hear what Biden has to say about Gaza and the State of the Union. Because I actually haven't heard the full thing. So I'm still kind of excited to hear it.
This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And 250.
Now, we already, I think a couple of days ago, kind of dismantled or at least looked at the video from Democracy Now! With Ryan Grimm and Jeremy Scahill regarding that New York Times piece that labeled October 7th as a day of systemic sexualized violence, but as it turned out, they lacked any evidence for it. And so, you know, Biden's just doing his job and repeating New York Times talking points here for fun, just for shits and gigs.
Hostages taken.
This is from 12 Rules for Life.
Our families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also we will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages.
Technically, yes, they do have a right to go after Hamas, but not in the way that they've been doing, which is arguably not going after Hamas, but just straight up Palestinians. Holy shit, chat is going really fast. It has been a second since I looked at this. What is happening over here? War equals money. I mean, that's true. That's true. You think Russia is launching nukes from space? Interesting. I haven't heard that. I'll have to look into that. Wait, they're going to launch them into space? That's even worse. At least for me personally. That affects me directly. Man, I can barely read.
Could end it.
I need glasses.
By releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards, under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though.
Oh, they do have a responsibility, though. Like, to provide evidence for any of that? Because I'd love to see some of that. Maybe get some UN observers in there. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
Protect innocent civilians in Gaza.
I don't want reality.
This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under
I gotta respond to this, chat. Of course, sending nukes into space is dumber, but think about how it affects yours truly. I mean, look at me here. I'm floating in space. I'm a moving target. I'm a sitting duck. And if they decide to take action, I am screwed, chat. I am screwed. I mean, for you folks down there on Earth, I mean, no problem. But for me, oh, the implications are tragic. All right, back to the serious shit.
Or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin, families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released. To get the hostages.
Yeah, Solik does make a good point, though, which I was kind of just, I think I was sort of lulled into a sense of security over here listening to this goddamn State of the Union, but you're right. Hamas is an ideology. How do you bomb an ideology? You're right. It's like declaring war on terrorism. It's like saying I'm against bad stuff, so we're going to declare war on it. But, yeah. Yep. That's what they're doing. Oh, good for Gabby in chat. Just listening. Yeah, don't get into accidents. Drive first, then watch. That's my recommendation.
And ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis, and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza.
Now, this is the most maybe pathetic thing, and I feel like Kamala's face kind of says it for me. He's like, oh no, he's saying something stupid right now. But this is one of the dumbest policies, I think, to take in this situation. Because first off, like, there's already literally, like, from what I understand, thousands of aid trucks waiting at the border. And so, you know, all that we got to do is let those aid trucks in. It's the easiest possible solution. Building a pier costs money, okay? It costs money, and it's unnecessary. The military budget's already bloated enough. Why are we building piers in Gaza when there's fucking trucks on the road, not in the water? I'd point out it's kind of annoying to try and move stuff from the water to the land, as it turns out. So yeah, just let the aid trucks get in. They just drive straight into the refugee camps essentially and hand out aid. It's not complicated, and it's ridiculous. Building a pier is a waste of money and time.
That can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian.
How the fuck do you build a pier without boots on the ground? I'm sorry. Can somebody educate me on this? I've never heard of a pier just materializing out of thin air. No one's gonna build it? Who's the Israelis? Are they gonna build it? Is that who's gonna build it? Boy, I feel like a lot of dumb stuff is said already, and this is only a small snippet of the speech. So glad we're not doing the whole thing.
Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to...
5 months later, with people literally starving by the hour. Okay, thank you. Could have taken a stand before this. And this doesn't even feel like it's not a stand. It's really just a finger wagging. That's what it is. It's finger wagging. Oh, Israel.
They're going to have a crossing in northern
Israel, you've been
Gaza.
a bad boy. You've been a bad boy.
Aren't I a good guy?
Humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh, that look said it all.
Don't be creepy.
Oh, God.
Situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel.
Okay, this is a perfect place to stop. As a lifelong supporter of Israel, well, enough of that. Sorry to subject you all to that, folks. Hopefully it was relatively painless. The next thing on my list. Oh, this is more comedic than it is serious. So we can watch this pretty quick. We're just going to look at some snippets of it. This is Britt. This is Katie Britt, who has 2 first names. She's going to deliver the Republican State of the Union. So get ready. Get excited. I want everybody in chat excited for this because this chick has got stuff for everybody. Woo! Just kidding. It's going to be garbage.
Of children in every corner of our nation. And that's why I invited you into our home tonight. Like so many families across America, My husband, Wesley, and I just watched President Biden's State of the Union address from our living room. And what we saw was the performance of a permanent politician who has actually been in office for longer than I've been alive. One thing was quite clear, though. President Biden
Was it Lindsey Graham?
doesn't get it. He's out of touch. Under his administration,
There's just so many options to choose from. I just get confused.
families are worse off. Our communities are less safe, and our country
Oh no, I don't feel safe at all right now. This is not good.
here. I just wish he understood what real families are facing.
Not the middle school acting monologue. That's exactly what it is. She's emoting so fucking hard right now. She's like whispering every single syllable right now. ASMR State of the Union, baby.
Around kitchen tables just like this one. You know, this is where our family has tough conversations. It's where we make hard decisions. It's where we share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
By the way, here are some of Katie Britt's policies. She's pro-life. She thinks that critical race theory needs to be stopped being taught in public schools in her fantastical imagination. She's hugely into school choice, aka weird cult-like, quasi schools, aka I'm not even gonna go further into that. I think you all get what I'm saying. But yeah, she also loves criticizing the Chinese Communist Party. It's apparently one of her big things, and is super into gun laws, like the opposite of gun laws. I mean, like just guns, just for everybody. Toddlers need guns. Just everybody needs them. So yeah, she's full of great ideas.
Of our days. It's where we laugh together.
Oh my god, I just realized I'm not even.
Each other's hands.
How did I not notice? I'm over here.
Guidance. And many nights.
That's my bad. That is my bad, BCAT. I'm always messing up, Chad. I have one job to do and I can't do it properly, and I apologize for that. I really do. Can I speak to you like Katie Britt for a second? This is really serious, chat. Do you hate guns? Well, sun's gonna be out soon, so guns are gonna be out. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna talk to like Katie Britt, but I am going to move on from Katie Britt because a minute and 11 seconds of Katie Britt is enough Katie Britt, in my opinion. You're welcome. Everyone's very welcome for that terrible impression. You are subjected to it, and now it's done. Okay, what is next? What is next? Oh, do I even want to watch this? I really don't want to watch this. Son of a bitch. So, Life, you're gonna ban me, or who are you banning? Who's banning? Who's getting banned? So Life, always with the threats, I start to wonder if they're real.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Okay. Here is the Pentagon press briefing from earlier today. Very exciting stuff. And it's going to be super woke. I can tell you that right now. Because don't forget, the military is woke now. So,
Arguably the greatest work of nonfiction of the 20th century.
No, not true. I'm not making this up right now, Jordan. This is real, okay? Pentagon is woke. That's what all the right-wingers are telling me. So this is going to be super woke.
I know it's surprising, but got quite a bit to cover today. So I'm going to jump right in and I'll get to your questions. Earlier today, the department's Office of Strategic Capital announced the release of its first investment strategy. Secretary Austin launched the Office of Strategic Capital in December 2022 to attract and scale private capital in support of national security. The investment strategy identifies priority component technology industries and describes how the OSC will catalyze private investment in these industries. It presents a guiding framework for OSC programs to complement existing Department of Defense and U.S. government programs. And to read more, I'd ask you to visit the department's
I'm going to skip
website.
past his little
Additionally, the department
spiel and get to some questions. Yeah, because the questions are better. Let's hear what the press has to say about all this.
Here and then offloaded
No, he's
onto
still
the
monologuing.
causeway.
Stop monologuing.
In this case, which
believe that the Pentagon has investigated itself and found that there's no evidence of alien life.
Wait,
well, look, the
what's happening?
The Aero Office used a very rigorous.
What was that question just now?
And why was the latest airdrop so small, 11,000 meals?
Look, these are going to vary over time, just depending on the mission and the aircraft that are available. So you will see those continue to fluctuate.
If I could, on the UFO report, this is an internal investigation required by Congress. Why will Americans?
Did you see this? All right, hold on. Wait, hold on. Watch this guy's face. Do you see where my mouse is right now? Watch this man with the white shirt in the front. Watch this man's face when she asks this next question. That is fucking amazing. That's how I felt when she asked that. That's what I thought she asked. Jesus Christ.
Not enough aid is getting
she started that
in,
question
so
like it was such a serious question.
That we have.
She's like, so about the DOD investigating itself, can we talk about aliens real quick?
It's capability that we are going to execute and enable us to get, like as I said, upwards of 2 million meals in a day.
And why was the latest airdrop so small, 11,000 meals?
Look, these are going to vary over time, just depending on the mission and the aircraft that are available. So you will see those continue to fluctuate.
If I could, on the UFO report.
Okay, yeah, now watch his face.
This is an internal investigation required by Congress. Why will Americans believe that
it looked like he was sleeping for a second. Then he heard her ask that question. He like blinks awake and looks around everybody like, wait, am I having a dream right now? What are we doing? Why would you go from a question about Palestinian aid drops to fucking aliens? What the fuck is going on, dude? What paper does she work for? I'm fucking blown away right now. Go.
Get into potential vulnerabilities. Obviously, a complex operation here. All of things that we're going to work through. I think the key aspect here is that again we're working alongside partners and allies in the region, as well as NGOs to help implement this. But certainly one of the key things that we're going to be focused on is the security of our personnel, and also working with partners in the region to ensure that aid that is delivered can be distributed in a safe and secure way. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, that sounds really super helpful. You know, I'm just going to move on from this one too, because it just seems like the DOD's plan is to do the least sensible things possible. So I'm just going to continue to believe that's the case until otherwise notified. Sorry, Chad, if that was riveting to you and to take you away from something so just so interesting. But we do have other things to look at. You're going to have to go to the AP to find that amazing video we just saw. What is happening in chat right now? I'm barely getting done with one thing. I look over at chat and shenanigans are happening. I don't even know what you people are talking about. I'm just going to assume that everybody's good. Somebody is concerned for their safety. Put a 1 in chat. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, next is staying, of course, with the United States. These are sort of out of order. I was going to watch this one before this. This is a 43-second clip. Just watch it. It's a hot mic.
She's right. Thanks for all the Billy
Follow each other.
Don't worry, Mr.
This is one of the big
Great speech. Really nice.
Don't be creepy.
I was telling your secretary, I was in Jordan, and this weekend. And just, you got to keep pushing what you're doing on the humanitarian stuff and all this stuff. So
I told him, baby, I'm gonna do this. I said, baby, you know I'm gonna come to Jesus.
Sir, just... Now, I don't know if you could hear that, but what Biden just said was he was going to tell Bibi that we need to have a come to Jesus moment. Now, my thinking is that Bibi Netanyahu, not the biggest fan of Jesus. Like, my guess is that's a little too new for him, if you will. And so I'm not sure if that's going to translate properly. Or I feel like it'll maybe come off a little hostile, honestly, and which could be good if that's his intention, but it seems like a weird way to put it, considering the circumstances. Although clearly sticking with the biblical theme, so hey, if that was his intention, really good job. Thematic as okay. That's all the Biden we're gonna have to deal with for a little bit. So sorry, chat. Now we're on to gun violence in America with a video from the AP entitled Uvalde Parents Angered After New Report Clears Police of Missteps During School Shooting. This came out 23 hours ago.
Expert investigative report regarding the Uvalde Police Department. Citizens are requested to sign up.
The officers could not see where the rounds were coming from. They just knew that the rounds were going through the wall, through the wood, through the doors. And they could not shoot into that room blindly. That would have been a serious violation. I mean, there were problems all day long with communication, lack of it. I don't believe they've ever been to any extensive breaching classes. I believe if they would have had a ballistic shield, I believe that would have been enough to get them in that door at that time, or at least to the door, the crowd. At times they were difficult to control. They were wanting to break through police barriers. There were times where some of the people in the crowd, and not all of them, sir, but some of them wanted to get
these people are just walking out. They're like, all right, that's enough.
That was there. And the officers that were trying to get
I don't blame them. Investigated themselves and found that they did nothing wrong. Oh my God, that is you know what?
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
I'm gonna hold myself back. I'm gonna control myself.
The ones that were trying to get set up with the command post were having issues with the crowd control because they had to make sure that nobody else in the crowd was injured.
Was Lieutenant Pargas part of that?
Oh wow, really? They investigated themselves and no one's lost their job and no one's faced criminal charges. That is shocking. That is shocking.
I don't want reality.
These people are fucking bat shit crazy. Like, what? You would think they would at least pick their least favorite guy or gal on the police department and, you know, at least put them out to pasture or something, just in some sort of cynical sort of way to show us that they're doing something about it and that they feel real bad or something, or maybe draw straws. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But you would think that they would have done something. Good Lord. Okay. Well, sadly, that's only the first in the gun violence related stuff. This came out exactly the same time, 23 hours ago. Woman shot to death in Pleasanton. And then and then the I'm not even gonna just gross. This is all gross. Okay. NBC, tell us.
580 in San Leandro is partially open at this hour after a police chase brought that freeway to a halt.
This is how it started, though. Apparently, a killing inside a Pleasanton home triggered a police chase that then turned that East Bay freeway into a parking lot. NBC Bears Jody Hernandez joins us live in Pleasanton. And Jody, what do we know about this death in Pleasanton? That's very unusual for that small enclave.
Very unusual for Pleasanton, Jessica. As you can see, police investigators are still at the scene. This is where it all started. Police are trying to determine what led to the deadly shooting of a mother, a shooting that's left a community shaken and caused a chaotic scene on the freeway.
It's a safe place, a safe neighborhood, and a very safe city.
But that sense of safety unraveled.
Yeah, but how safe is everything when everybody owns a gun? Anybody can just kill anybody at any time. It's out of control. This shit is out of control. We really don't have to see more of this, to be perfectly frank. The suspect killed a person, a woman, and then killed themselves after a police chase. GG. End of story. There's one more shooting added to the list that we've been keeping track of, in which we have one every single day. Now, I know I skipped a day yesterday, so you're thinking, Streamlord, are you sure it's one every day? Because you didn't do a stream yesterday, and so that's just one for 2 days. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but you weren't prepared for me to have this. You've fallen into my trap. My very sad American-style trap. This is 2 more videos here, back to back. First one, in the Bronx, teen died after being shot in the neck during a fight.
In New York City, and tonight a 17-year-old student has died from a shooting near a middle school in the Bronx. New York cops say there was a group fight this afternoon on Caldwell Avenue in the Longwood section when someone shot the boy in the neck. His name not yet released. Police suspect another 17-year-old was the shooter. Lee?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. 17-year-old boy shot in the neck gets a 24-second video. Because it's America. And it's not shocking. Happens every day. Is it even a news story? Well, I think it is, and that's why we keep focusing on this shit. Next one is the Associated Press. Michigan school shooter's dad had eye on weapon for quite some time, gun shop employee testifies. This is in the trial of, oh shit, what the hell is their names? Oh, God. I think you know what I'm talking about. I just gotta look at this information. Who is the name of this? Oh, good to see all the people that are showing up here. Jules T. Looks like AC is finally out of the shower. Brandy Nuance is back.
So what are we looking at on the side of this case here?
Hold on, I gotta pause this.
You're looking at
FG. Teddy Cool. All the peoples. Okay. Sorry, gotta do some late research here because I forgot the name of the school shooter. I don't know why. It's just because there's so many of them. It's genuinely that hard. I have to remember 365 a year. It is fucking crazy. Right, the Crumblies. I knew it started with a C. Okay, this is in the trial of the Crumblies in Michigan. I'm going to have to read, so let's do this. A gun shop employee testified the Oxford High School shooter's father knew what he was looking for when he bought a handgun shortly before the attack. So, think about that. He knew what he was looking for. What does that even mean? Think about that. This guy is, like, shopping around, like, so much that the teller at the store remembers him buying the gun and like looking at the gun. That should be a red flag right there. Cammy Back said James Crumbly was accompanied by his son Ethan Crumbly when he paid roughly $520 for the Sig Sauer 9mm in 2021.
identify it as to the stock number that I put on each box. He was standing at the showcase, and his son was standing behind him.
Okay.
I approached a customer prior to Mr. Crumbly, and he directed me to go ahead and take care of Mr. Crumbly first, so I did.
Oh, so
Mr.
thoughtful.
Crumbly asked to see the Sig Sauer, said he...
People say there's no civility left in society. I think not. Pfft, there's evidence right there. Sorry, folks. Sarcasm's getting out of control.
Had his eye on that for quite some time.
Crumbly's attorney said her client could not have foreseen what his son was going to do. You could have foreseen a little, right? Like a little bit. Come on. What's the kid gonna do with it? What's the point? What's the point of giving a kid in high school that their brain's not even developed? What's the plan? I don't see it. And it just seems completely negligent. Even though in a lot of states it's legal to technically do that, but it shouldn't be. Okay, what's next? Oh, just a quick look at economics here in the US. Very quick one, and then we'll be moving on to other things. All right, move. No, go web go. That's the wrong thing. Huh? Me? Stop. But you're muted. You're not helping. What the fuck? Whoa.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Why is this on this? Go back. You crazy.
U.S. job growth accelerated in February, though unemployment rose to a two-year high, according to a report from the Labor Department out Friday. The higher jobless rate and the fact that payrolls were revised lower for December and January suggested the labor market was slowing. Wage growth also cooled last month, which boosted financial market expectations that the Federal Reserve would start cutting interest rates by June. One economist tells Reuters that after a few months of head fakes, it looks like the labor market is returning to last year's moderating trend, which should make the Fed happy. Non-farm payrolls increased by 275,000 jobs last month, above the 200.
So, one thing I'm going to point out, and I didn't say the name of this, so I'm just going to read it out now, but this is a video from Reuters, and the title is U.S. Job Growth Accelerates, but Unemployment Hits Two-Year High. And while that title sounds somewhat, what's the word, like oxymoronic, right, sort of counterintuitive, the thing is that in some sectors right now, job cuts are accelerating. And so even unexpectedly large numbers like they're talking about for what did he say, non-farm payrolls, some factor of unemployment, and as well as job what does he say? I think it was job numbers from something. Maybe it was the non-farm payroll. That must have been what it was. Anyways, it's outstripping the number of jobs being created, even though it's more than whatever economists expected. So it's situation's a little fucking weird out there right now.
1,000 estimate in the Reuters poll, but the economy created 167,000 fewer jobs in December and January than previously predicted. The unemployment rate increased to 3.9%, the highest level since January 2022, after holding at 3.7% for 3 straight months. Employment gains last month were led by the government and healthcare sectors, which are still rebuilding headcount that was reduced during the pandemic. Restaurants, bars, and construction companies also added workers. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 rose in morning trading, with the NASDAQ and S&P.
Yeah, those numbers actually do kind of make sense. Now that people are, essentially back to just going out like the pandemic never happened. Service sector jobs are still adding jobs, and of course, construction is still hot right now because of the price of housing and the price of real estate. So all the construction companies are hiring, but tech sector has been slashing jobs from what I understand, and a lot of other tangential things as some sort of a what do you call it, downstream effect. Ah, fuck, what am I doing next here? Okay, yes. Next one is quick look at what's going on in Haiti. This was from a day ago. A lot of this stuff is like a little bit older than I usually mess with. Not mess with, that's not true. I watch all sort of stuff, but it's all, not all of it, but like half of it is from yesterday, because I was thinking about streaming yesterday, but essentially gave up on it through the evening and just said, fuck it, we'll see you all Friday. So this is a video from the AP entitled Haiti Extends Curfew to Curb Violent Gang. I can't read that. Why can't I read that? Whatever. We're watching it. Let's go. Construction is hiring, but they haven't raised their wages since 1980. Yeah, or 1970. Yeah, pick a year. Absolutely. No, a lot of those guys think they can get away with stuff. And I mean, there are quite a few of them, right? Contractors and things who hire under the table, avoid regulations, don't use safety equipment. It's kind of chronic, honestly. Haiti's government is trying to stabilize the country after relentless gang attacks paralyzed the capital. People took to the streets of the capital to voice their anger at the prime minister who is out of the country. Ariel Henry is part of the past. We no longer recognize him. These people don't appear to be in a gang so much as just people. The way that they've phrased this video, it does not line up with what we're looking at. These are just dudes just in the street saying, go fuck yourself, colonialist. Public demonstrations are also prohibited in the metro area and beyond. Violence has impacted ordinary Haitians and left more than 15,000 people homeless. Yeah, well, it's a problem. No one's saying that. Okay. Whoa, what is this? A lot of... I'm supposed to read all that. Fun fact. When the minimum wage was introduced, it was supposed to increase by $1 per year. Minimum wage was introduced in 1938 at 25 cents an hour. How much should it be today? Had it since 1938? Yeah, a lot. It should be a hell of a lot. Basically, what is that? 62.24. Was that $86.25? That didn't happen. Thanks, Reagan. Although I feel like it happened even before that. Now that I think about it, if that's the case, I gotta look that up. That's interesting. I don't know that that's 100% true. I do trust obsolete optics on that, but kind of want to look that up and how that went awry. That would have been crazy if that had been the case. Vincent Morales is the only Mexican that doesn't know how to use a shovel. You were told this by who? That seems incredibly racist to me. Yes, 86.25. Yep. Checks out. It checks out. All right. Now we're really leaving America, and Haiti, I think, technically is in the Americas. North Korea. Here is a Reuters piece entitled North Korea's Kim orders heightened war readiness. So
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Go Web Go.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has ordered heightened readiness for war. That's according to state media on Thursday. State TV released these images they say show Kim a day earlier inspecting troops at a major military base. The broadcast said they were training under conditions simulating actual...
I'm trying to focus over here, chat. Fuck you, okay? That's what I've got to say to you, chat. 100%, I love you, but also fuck you. If that's Haitian gang life, they should see American book clubs. If that's Haitian gang life, they should see American school board meetings about books. But seriously though, the thing that killed me just now is that obsolete, and I'm a child for this, but the fight for 42069 seems reasonable. That one broke me. That broke me inside. That's what we need to fight for though, because it's nice. It's nice as fuck. Okay. Ooh, Raptors in chat. Get them in while it's hot. We have to restart that because I was completely sidetracked by all of your shenanigans.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has ordered heightened readiness for war. That's according to state media on Thursday. State TV released these images they say show Kim a day earlier inspecting troops at a major military base. The broadcast said they were training under conditions simulating actual war. Kim was also quoted as saying the military must, quote, dynamically usher in a new heyday of intensifying the war preparations in line with the requirements of the prevailing situation. Kim's tour of the base, the location of which was not identified, comes after the start of annual combined military drills by U.S. and South Korean forces on Monday in the south, with twice the number of troops taking part compared to last year. Pyongyang urged the allies to stop their drills, calling them rehearsals for war. Seoul and Washington say the exercises are defensive and a response to the North's threats. North Korean state media did not mention whether Kim explicitly referred to the joint U.S.-South Korean drills in his remarks Wednesday at the military base.
Crazy pill.
Okay. Pause. I said pause. Pause, please. Can you pause? Is it a pause? What is happening? Oh my god. Why is my computer acting ridiculous?
I got boxes full of Pepe.
There we go. Okay. Kind of working. But you don't want to go to this one? But why? But why though? That's my question. That's all I'm asking. It's not that hard. That's what she said. Okay, moving on. Yeah, this is good old Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman. New Pakistan government marks return of bourgeois old guard as jailed Imran Khan looms large. That sentence is actually quite difficult to say for some reason. Just so many different kinds of syllables in there.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
We end today's show in Pakistan, where Shehbaz Sharif was sworn in Monday as Prime Minister for a second time, days after newly elected members of Parliament were seated amid protests
Let Amy
by
have as
lawmakers.
many gummies as she wants, okay? She deserves all the gummies. If I had gummies, I'd give them to her, okay? If that's her deal, I'm totally for it. She literally deserves free gummies from every, like, anybody who runs a weed store or whatever. They owe Amy Goodman. Just, I don't know her address, but probably just send them to Democracy Now's P.O. Box and she'll get them if you just address it to her. That would be my thinking. Although, if I were Amy, I probably wouldn't just be accepting random gummies. That's just me. Please, Amy, don't accept gummies. I can't stress this enough.
From the party of ousted and jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Sharif is expected to form a new government after none of the major parties won a majority of parliamentary seats in February's election. Khan supporters have accused the military of election tampering.
When's the last time I blew what out with a can of air? I don't even know what we're talking about. What is something? I feel like it's something that I said before, and it's referential to that, but I have no idea beyond what that's about. No argument here. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep Amy safe. Not that she doesn't deserve the gummies, but I feel like it's probably best to not just go eating random food out of a P.O. box.
On X, the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad congratulated Shahbaz on his, quote, assumption of office.
Here in the United States, over 30 members of Congress sent an open letter to President Biden asking him to withhold U.S. recognition of the new Pakistani government until a, quote, thorough, transparent, and credible investigation of election interference has been conducted, unquote. On Tuesday, U.S. State Department spokesperson Matt Miller was asked to respond to the letter.
So a few things. Number one, there was a competitive election in Pakistan. Millions and millions of people made their voices heard. A new government has been formed, and we will, of course, work with that government. At the same time, there were reported irregularities. There have been challenges brought by political parties to the results, and we want to see those challenges and those irregularities fully investigated.
For more, we're joined in Islamabad by Asim Sajjad Akhtar, Associate Professor of Political Economy at Quaid-e-Azam University in Islamabad. He's also affiliated with Pakistan Workers' Party. We thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to have to cut this, I feel like. But in answer to your question, Obsolete, I don't use either. I don't use a laptop or a desktop. I use a modded Mac. What's it called? Fuck, my brain just broke. iMac. I use a modded iMac that I took apart and did some stuff to. And yeah. So taking it apart, dusting it out, necessary, but happens somewhat infrequently, unfortunately, due to that one thing. As there's something of a real problematic computer to take apart. I don't know if you're familiar with the process, but it's arduous and annoying.
Much for being with us. Can you say the name of your university? I'm sorry, I mispronounced it.
It's Quaid-e-Azam University.
So, Professor Akhtar, can you talk about the National Assembly electing Shahbaz Sharif as the country's new prime minister, who he is, and what's really taken place in this election?
Yeah, Shahbaz Sharif, as you just noted in your intro, is a second-time prime minister. He was prime minister just most recently between April 22 and the end of his regime around the end of 23. And he hails from the Sharif family, which is part of the bourgeois old guard, which has been in and out of power for the best part of about 40 years now. And as you also noted in your intro, this election
is marred. It's not a Hackintosh, it's a Franken-Mac. I know what you're talking about. It's not that. It's not Mac OS booted onto a PC. It's the convoluted Frankensteining of an iMac. Mostly because I like some of the aspects of it. Anyway, plus you can get them real cheap if you buy the low spec ones and start to and you just upgrade it all yourself. Like, oh man, dirt cheap. At least in comparison to the the new ones and whatnot, because those are super expensive. What are we doing? Oh yeah, Pakistan. Let's focus.
Is a sort of an understatement. By rigging and by vote tampering. And in fact, even after the election results came out, in which Imran Khan's party clearly, by any objective measure, won the most seats, what we saw was a systematic process of changing the outcomes to reduce Imran's votes or seats by about 25 to 30 seats.
And Asim, could you explain the PTI and Imran Khan's popularity? I mean, he's been imprisoned. There are multiple cases against him, and yet all these people voted for independent candidates aligned with him. What explains that?
Yeah, well, of course, again, some of your listeners will know that Imran Khan was himself in power, was prime minister between 2018 and 2022. And both that during that period, prior to that, before that, he's appealed in the vein of many, I'd say, strong men, sort of right of center strong men around the world in the last decade or so, to, I think, particularly in Pakistan's case, a very young population disaffected with these institutions of formal representative democracy. And I think that, and of course, having been jailed and in his supporters' eyes, unjustifiably removed from power in 2022 and replaced by the very same Sharif and also another old family, the Bhuttos, that have been in power intermittently. And of course, all at the behest of Pakistan's preeminent political force, which is the army. I think that combination of factors, a young disaffected population, a set of regimes that historically does not deliver, and then underlying structural crises that just get worse. And I think that contributes to Imran Khan's growing popularity.
And Asim, explain, you said regimes have systematically not responded to the needs of ordinary Pakistanis. But explain, what exactly did Imran Khan do for the people, or for that matter, you've written about this, so-called marginal areas in Pakistan from Balochistan to Waziristan. What were his policies?
Yeah, I mean, in practice, in principle, that's exactly right. It's not as if Khan's time in power was marked by any major departures. And I think the rhetoric that Khan brings and sort of this perception that he is an outsider, and that's why I made reference to, I think, many other similar examples around the world, not to mention what you are dealing with in the United States, again, with the renewed appeal of Trumpism after 4 years of Biden's, liberal imperialism. So you have this, cycle, and Imran Khan was very much part of that cycle in a country which is, ravaged by debt, by climate breakdown events. Some of your listeners will know it was only less than 2 years ago that 1/3 of Pakistan was ravaged by floods. 35 million people were displaced from their homes. So Khan didn't really do anything that different. But I think what ended up happening was because he was removed from office prior to his term being completed, I think that then reinforced that already existing sort of sense and perception amongst his supporters that, look, he was going to get there eventually. He was going to change the system, but he wasn't allowed to do so. And that rhetoric then ratcheted up a further notch with this wave of repression against him and his party.
So last August, The Intercept revealed the existence of a classified Pakistani cable.
I hate to cut Amy Goodman off. That's about as much as I wanted to watch of that. If you want to watch the rest of it, of course, go to Democracy Now! And subscribe to that channel if you aren't already for some strange reason. Oh my god. Computer is moving slow today. And the thing is, I always struggle to interrupt them in general. Democracy Now! Is just such a good news network, right? Like, they do actual journalism, and all of the guests are usually pretty based and actually know things and tell people tell us important things. And it's just it's so hard to interrupt and try and add more context to it. It's like, oh, so I know this one thing, you want to hear about it? And maybe I'm being a little ridiculous, but sometimes, especially when it comes to certain areas of the globe, when I lack a certain knowledge, I just feel like it's easier and better for me to just defer to what they're saying and let you all learn for yourselves. But seriously, what in the flip is going on with this? Hold on. My streaming software is acting straight up crazy. It has gone cuckoo bananas. Work with me. Work with me, pal. Oh, there we go. That's how you do stuff. That's how you do stuff. I'm so proud of you. Okay. Cool. Next one. Where were we just at? Pakistan. Ah, yes. This is a global news piece. This next one. Sweden officially has become a part of NATO. And this is a quick story about that from, I think I already said it, Global News. Oh, shit, gotta switch it back.
Sweden has officially become the 32nd member of NATO after completing its accession process in Washington Thursday.
It feels very good today, I have to say. It is a major step, but it's a very natural step. It's a kind of today we actually, in a literal sense, made Sweden safer and more secure. And I'm proud to be the Prime Minister that had the job and the duty to fulfill that. Well, now we are entering a new era where we actually in detail is going to plan exactly what's going to happen the first months. We are exactly now where Finland was a few months ago, integrating fully, going from following NATO.
That's right. So since Finland has become part of NATO, I believe Sweden is the last of the, I guess what you call the Nordic countries up there adjacent to Russia, that Russia so deeply objected to becoming a part of NATO. And it's really kind of, I want to say like Ukraine's one of the last ones left in Eastern Europe to not be a part of NATO, which makes this whole situation in Ukraine all the more, I guess, I don't want to say interesting, but certainly becoming more unique, as it's been for a while now attempting to become part of NATO, but because of all of the pushback, literally, militarily from Russia, they haven't been able to become part of NATO. And if they were, considering all of the all of these countries have now kind of in succession become part of NATO, it would seem that Ukraine's the de facto next country to join, which would make things very interesting, because I don't think Russia wants to go to war with all of NATO. It seems like a bad call for him, personally. All right, that's all we're going to watch of that. Just wanted to keep us informed of everything that's happening. At some point, I feel like that might become impossible, but I'm just going to keep trying every day my very best. Oh, we made it to Palestine, so here comes even more doom. But does feel like there have been some movement there. However, we're going to start with a video from a little while ago. This is a little over a week ago. Pinch Point Al Jazeera video entitled "The Day Before October 7th." I don't know if you've seen this yet. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I thought it was good. It would be good today for us to just kind of get our minds reset to what things were like right before everything changed.
Picture this. You live in a besieged territory under occupation. You're hungry. Soldiers at the border won't let anything in or out unless they're forced to, and that includes food. You also live under the constant threat of violence. Schools, hospitals, places many of us take for granted are underfunded or have been destroyed.
Wait, hold on.
Electricity and fuel.
Are you guys getting levels? Are you hearing that, chat? Is that sound coming through? Why am I not seeing it over here? You are getting, press 1 if you're getting sound right now. Okay, never mind. I figured it out. Check my monitoring device. Okay, weird. I'm just not seeing it on my. I shouldn't trust my freaking Streamlabs ever. It is always acting up. I swear to God.
Restricted by your closest neighbors. Often, there isn't any at all. And unless you have exactly the right documents, you can't hope to leave. Welcome to Gaza, before the war. Gaza on a good day. I'm Deni Nabogeda. This is Pinch Point, where politics and geography collide. Let's take a moment to imagine how Palestinians were feeling in the days leading up to the war. Actually, you don't have to imagine it. The research has been done. Just 1 week before Hamas launched its attack on Israel, Gallup wrapped up its poll of Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. The interviews took place between July and September 2023. Here's what they found. Anger was already on the rise. The poll found that 44% of Palestinians in Gaza said they experienced a lot of anger the day before they were surveyed. These are levels not seen since 2018, when there were weekly protests demanding the right for Palestinians to return to the land they
So you're telling me,
when Israel
just to make sure I'm clear on this, Palestinians were already historically pissed before they started getting genocided actively. Oh boy, that's, yeah. Pretty sure if you took that poll right now, it would be 100%.
became a state. Over the decades, the protests have never really stopped. Protests against poverty, protests appealing for dignity, protests for freedom. Gallup also found that most Palestinians surveyed don't trust U.S. President Joe Biden to negotiate peace between Palestine and Israel. Actually, an incredible 8 in 10 Palestinians doubted there could ever be permanent peace between Israel and Palestine. As for living standards, well, Gaza was never rich, but the recent poll suggests people were struggling to buy food. Before the war, people were getting by, but just barely, depending
By the
on
way,
handouts.
by the way, chat, I would like to point out my extreme level of restraint that I'm showing right now by not pausing on every graph. Okay, even though I've paused on every graph.
But rarely able to rely on themselves. The ability to afford a place to live had also reached a crisis point, with a third of people in Gaza worried about finding a roof over their head. According to Gallup, 2/3 of people in Gaza could be classified as moderately or highly vulnerable. And to repeat, that was before the current war.
Yeah.
Shocking thing.
And that's where I'm going to cut it. But Obsolete Optics is so right about that. And honestly, 40% seemed low, you know, for October 7th. But hey, you know, I suppose you get used to things if you live with them long enough. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to provide us with some context, remind us what things were like just 5 months ago in Palestine. They weren't great, but they were definitely better. That much is for sure. Undoubtedly better, but not good. Definitely not good. Okay, next video, still in Palestine, of course, but not actually in Palestine. This is a Sky News interview with a journalist by the name of Natasha Hausdorff, and I believe one of the Israeli spokespeople by the name of Rachel Shabi. So, of course, if you're familiar, Sky is pretty right-wing in terms of networks. It's basically Fox News for Australia.
Well, let's bring in our studio guests this evening.
Let's try and get through this. We're not going to watch the whole
author.
thing. We might watch it we might watch parts of it at fast speed. We'll see. Wow, chat, you're going so fast. I'm struggling to keep up with all of you right now. Where's Gabby, if not yet home? Probably still driving, I believe. Look at this graph. Look at this graph. That's basically my life, is telling people to look at this graph. Maybe I need to take a snippet of that.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Okay.
Shabi and Natasha Hausdorff, a barrister and legal director at the UK Lawyers
Yes,
for
exactly.
Israel Charitable Trust.
Said even
Thank you
better
both
than
for
I said it. The Fox
joining
News
us.
of
We
Down
have so much to
Under.
discuss tonight. But Natasha, I just want to begin by sort of talking about the situation in Ukraine. The reality is that the Ukrainians are now outnumbered and they are in desperate need of money, weapons, and...
Actually, hold on. The reason I wanted to watch this is because of what they start talking about Palestine. I think it's somewhere over here. Yeah. Sorry, chat. I should have saved my spot. That's on me.
And then, you know, the fact that European countries are still, you know, 40% dependent on oil and gas supplies from Russia. The fact that Russian oligarchs use the UK, or London more specifically, as a laundromat for finances. All of these things can and have not been taken action for. And I suspect the reason is purely financial. So at some stage, you know, there has to be some decision made of what exactly the West's priorities are. Is it financial gain?
I like your idea, Vincent Morales. And not to be a bummer on your birthday, but I feel like most of those empty spaces are owned by billionaires or like multi-billion-dollar corporations. And I'm not saying that we can't fix that, but it is something of an obstacle. I'm just going to point that out. I do like your thinking, and there's got to be a way to make it happen. So I'm optimistic, if I'm being real. I think here, maybe. Where is this? Sorry, chat. Totally lost my place in this video somehow. Probably because I watched the whole thing through.
Told by military experts in terms of the levels of urban armed conflict and the way that Hamas has spent the last 16 years embedding itself in.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere over here. Bitch, go back. How about here? How's here? This lady says some unhinged stuff, so let's hear what she has to say first.
Just heard confirmation in that interview that journalists have had levels of access. We've seen Jeremy Bowen reporting. Yes, we've seen Jeremy Bowen reporting embedded with the IDF, other journalists. Clearly.
Chat, you gotta stop saying so much base stuff. I can't focus on the video. But you're absolutely right, BCat. We have plenty of homes. They're just empty because of greed. Because, you know, every idiot with whatever, like a, you know, like $100,000 from daddy, you know, $1 million from daddy or something, is buying property and then Airbnb in and out, and I was gonna say $100,000 doesn't buy a house anymore unless it's in a really bad shape or in very rural area. But I suppose you could still, people are doing that too, right? It's everywhere. They're doing it everywhere. Every empty house is getting bought up. I was looking at it recently in a place that I used to live, and like a bunch of the houses currently being sold are by corporations like BlackRock or Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if you know what Berkshire Hathaway is, but that's good old Warren Buffett's family fund, if you will. And BlackRock is just a disgusting financial institution. Anyway, back to this box of shenanigans.
The issue is a security situation.
By the way, at some point we will get to International Women's Day, but I just have to get through the backlog of stuff here first, unfortunately. I felt it'd be slightly more uplifting to hold off till later because we have a lot of depressing stuff to do first.
Israel suffered 2 fatalities only this morning amongst the soldiers that were operating in the north of Gaza, which is, you know, we were told had been cleared of Hamas, of course, long before that. So I think it's important not to underestimate the intense challenges that Israel's facing, unprecedented challenges, we're told by military experts, in terms of the levels of urban armed conflict and the way that Hamas has spent the last 16 years embedding itself in civilian infrastructure. I mean, that's clearly not a safe environment for any journalist to be reporting.
As a journalist, I know that embeds, I've done them with the Americans, I've done them with the Afghan forces, with the Iraqi forces. You're controlled to a level, and I think that's part of the point of what journalists are trying to say.
And the critical issue here, and I absolutely agree.
No, absolutely. I hate co-opting this video to talk about real estate, but absolutely, everything you people are saying about this is totally right. Buying up office space. I mean, but the thing is, they've been getting burned on the office space side lately because the return to the office didn't quite happen as much as the return to the restaurants and everything else. The bars, but it's been it's interesting. It's very interesting, and turning cheap real estate into NIMBY refugees is half the reason why we were talking about earlier about the construction business being in a boom right now, because they are just building out NIMBY projects left and right wherever they can find space for one. If they can't find space for one, they'll just build one on top of another one. I actually saw a video about them about literally that thing. Somebody building a second building on top of the first building. It was ridiculous.
With this element of it, what we have had from the Palestinian journalists on the ground so far, unfortunately, is parroting Hamas propaganda. Nowhere is that more apparent than in the casualty figures that are constantly
Arguably
being
the
put
greatest
out.
work
At
of
least we've
nonfiction
had
of the 20th
latterly
century.
clarification that they come from the Hamas-controlled Palestinian Ministry of
Well,
Health.
the US president actually made a point and said just last week that 28,000 people were killed. That was the US president. The State Department said that as well.
I think that's extremely problematic.
Oh, it's extremely problematic because it's undershooting it by probably like 17,000. That's my guess, because there's so many people that are just unaccounted for right now. And maybe I'm overshooting it now, but seriously, 28,000 is undershooting it. And she's like, oh, it's problematic.
Those numbers are reliant only. And they're not
Why are you being so problematic?
I don't want reality.
independently verified, reliant on Hamas control.
Well, you'd think that the US president wouldn't be parroting the...
Oh,
but please, Rachel, if you wanted to jump in.
I think that's just a willful misunderstanding of how journalism works, frankly. And I think this is a perfect sweet spot for the Israeli army. I remember they first did this in the 2008 war on Gaza when I was based in the region, and they banned all journalists apart from the ones that were already there. The Palestinian journalists in Gaza, as you and your colleague Alex Crawford described, are doing an incredible job trying to get the truth out to the world while their own families and sometimes their colleagues are being killed.
Does the IDF have a point, though? It's a security issue.
No, that's not their decision to make. That's your decision to make. That's your risk and your organization's risk. That's your decision. What Israel wants is to carry out these operations in the dark, number one, and number two, facilitate the kind of nonsense that Natasha is coming out with, which is, oh, we can't possibly verify any of this.
Well, let's
We
drill
don't
down
know.
on those casualty
Let's
figures.
have a look at those casualty figures.
Just give me... I've just been accused of speaking nonsense.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's so good. We're gonna stop it right there. She does such a great job of like just tearing that apart because it's so true. Israel is hiding from the numbers. They're hiding from investigations. They're hiding from...
I don't want reality.
Hiding from reality, you know? And it's crazy. It is crazy. Okay. What's next? Yeah, I might skip this one because this is so long. I have so much more stuff to do today. Okay. Let's go to this next video. Do this. This is a video entitled The United Nations has warned at least a quarter of Gaza's population is one step away from famine. From Al Jazeera English. Let's see. Is that it? Yep. Okay.
He's an international human rights lawyer. He's also a co-founder of the Palestinian human rights groups Al-Haq. Jonathan, what is your assessment of the legal grounds of South Africa's request as it stands?
Well, I think the request is very proper under international law. People seem to forget that it is the obligation of Israel under international law to provide food and basic services to the people under its occupation. Not only has Israel failed to meet that obligation, it has also obstructed and prevented others from bringing food in as part of a deliberate strategy to starve the Palestinian people. In fact, it was announced, we will cut off food, we will cut off water, we will not allow fuel in, we will not allow these things in.
Right.
And then they started allowing it in a drip fashion. We will allow a few trucks here, we'll allow a few trucks there, but we will also control not only how much food comes in and what kind of food comes in, we also want to control who does the distribution and who safeguards these convoys. In the beginning, it was the regular police who would safeguard these convoys, but then Israel started targeting these police because they are in uniform, sometimes they are armed, so they consider them enemy combatants, members of Hamas, and they shoot them. Then after a while, the convoys have no protection to protect them once they come in. Israelis also determined that they will not allow the food to come in through the north. There's 300,000 people living in the northern half of the Gaza Strip, and Israel has control.
It's crazy that they think they can even make the argument that somehow letting in trucks from one place or another is somehow just like a detriment to like their military operation or something. Like they control all of it, right? They have walls around all of Gaza, first off. And then secondly, they've been building freaking new highways in Gaza for military vehicles straight through it. We've watched videos about it. They're in complete control of the entire area. And it's fucking crazy that they've been even making that sort of assertion still. Especially with the hammer coming down on them from like literally everywhere, it feels like now.
All the borders and the crossings there. They don't allow any food to come in from the north. Instead, it has to come from the south after it is inspected by the Israelis. So by the time the food convoys, even the few that are allowed, by the time they enter, they have to...
That made me so sad, seeing that little girl there. Like, she looked like she wanted to cry, but she was so dehydrated she couldn't. It's so depressing. International Women's Day, everybody. Yay.
The people on the way. So they're either attacked or that they are looted, or people who are hungry simply grab the food on the way. The starvation now is becoming part of Israel's policy.
Well,
they
Jonathan,
want to starve the...
Jonathan, it's clear that Israel has not complied with the previous provisional measures that the court handed down, and we also don't know what was in the report that they were due to submit to the ICJ over a week ago. Many have described them as acting with impunity. What sort of recourse is there?
Well, I think the question now is about the court itself and about international law. In a real way, what South Africa did was not so much put Israel on trial, but put international law itself on trial.
Absolutely. It's a perfect place for us to stop. Also, obsolete. I hear your sentiment, but I don't think that's the answer. Like, I get what you're saying, but no. Just no. Absolutely not. Oh, God. But seriously, I mean, those people have already been through enough. If anything, we just got to find a way to get that place to stop living in the fucking dark ages. It's nuts. Whenever I see footage from North Korea, which barely any exists of it, it just feels like I'm in some weird, like what's the thing? I'm trying to think of the reference right now, but it feels like a time capsule, like some time capsule somewhere between, you know, like 1950 and 1970, but like in North Korea, where things were a lot different during that time than some other places. What are we doing now? Oh, good. Well, this is a video from TRT World entitled Palestinians Rafah Prepare for Ramadan and Israeli Bombardment. Damn it. I gotta kill that. I'm gonna read this. I'm not gonna play any music. I'm just gonna read because I'm definitely gonna get copyright struck for that. Okay. Mar Salut, who fled his home in Gaza City due to Israeli bombardments, has started decorating refugee tents in Rafah in preparation for Ramadan in Palestine's besieged Gaza. He says, I wanted to make the children happy. Palestinian children love life. They love to play. They love to have fun. And Ramadan is a special month marked by Muslims. Sorry. Marked by Muslims around the world, and sighting of the crescent moon determines the start of the holy month of fasting. This is making me sad. Spiritual purification and prayer for Muslims, for Palestinians this year's Ramadan coincides with Israel's ongoing war, which has claimed more than 30,000 lives, displaced more than 1 million Palestinians, and destroyed 70% of Gaza's homes, as well as almost 1,000 mosques. This woman says, this Ramadan will not be like last Ramadan. Actually, that's a child. I just realized I immediately thought she was a grown woman, but no, that's definitely like a teenage girl. Okay, because we hope for a ceasefire and to return. Tel Aviv has been accused by the UN of intentionally starving the people of Gaza by depriving them of basic necessities. But despite the hardships they face, Palestinians remain resilient. Ramadan is here. This is so difficult to watch, and it brings us happiness after a long absence. Welcome, Ramadan. That is rough. That is rough. Okay. Oh, we already watched a video about this. Yay, I get to skip one of these sad videos that make me sad. Okay, yay. Next video is a Reuters video entitled Graphic Warning. Oh. So, graphic warning, everybody. Sorry about that. Israeli tank likely fired machine gun after shelling journalists. Okay, Reuters, show us what you got. Just airlocked copyright. It's a good plan. I like that plan. I don't think it works that way, but let's hope.
That struck a group of journalists in southern Lebanon last October, killing Issam Abdallah from Reuters, were likely followed by bursts of machine gun fire. That means the group was under attack for 1 minute and 45 seconds. These findings are contained in the final report published Thursday, March 7th, from the Independent Research Institute, TNO, which carried out an analysis for Reuters at its laboratories in The Hague. As well as killing Abdallah, 6 other journalists from Reuters, Agence France Presse, and Al Jazeera were wounded in the incident.
Graphic warning equals channel demonetized. Is that 100% true? If it is, I got problems. That's a good question. It's a good question. Thankfully, I have a Patreon, which everybody can subscribe to, which gives all sorts of interesting benefits and other sorts of cool stuff. So yeah.
Reuters' investigation in December covered TNO's initial report that the 120mm tank rounds were fired.
I do got to look that up though and find out exactly what that means, because honestly, I didn't see anything that was genuinely like graphic. I mean, we saw a tank shoot something, but I've seen plenty of videos with tanks shooting stuff and they weren't labeled graphic, so I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm definitely gonna look into it. We just airlock Jesus. Better hold your breath, Jesus. Better hold your breath. Well, I don't know. Does Jesus have to hold his breath? That's an important question. I feel like I need an answer to.
Inside Israel. Now, TNO says audio picked up by an Al Jazeera video camera at the scene shows the journalists also came under fire from 50 caliber rounds.
And this is the muzzle blast of the actual shot. We noticed that we could hear the bullets whizzing by. So that made us realize that the journalists were actually being fired upon with a machine gun. So we analyzed these bursts and we compared it to our own data, And based on frequency and this comparison, we determined that this arms fire was consistent with a heavy machine gun, a 50 caliber machine gun.
TNO's Eric Roon led the investigation for Reuters. His team said it was likely, but not concluded with certainty, that the tank and machine gun fire originated from the same position.
Merkava tanks can be equipped with a heavy machine gun, a Browning machine gun, which is actually aligned with the tank gun.
Cool. Cool. So I think that we've basically figured out from that. Rest of it gets pretty bogged down in the science of it all. I think it's pretty clear they have not been shying away from attacking journalists. So really, it's not a shocking story, even though it should be, because it's been happening on the regular since the very beginning. Since October 7th, essentially. Okay. Next video. Associated Press. After 5 months of Israel's war with Hamas, Khan Yunis lies in ruins. Oh. By the way, good to see Looney Tunes back. And Atticus Among Us back. All you people who are coming back to join the stream. Good to see you all. I don't think I can keep up with all these comments at this moment. I'd love to. By the way, BCat, thank you for plugging my Patreon. Really appreciate that. Alright, next. What is next? Oh, I said it. I said it. Alright, we're going. Let's do it. Oh, but I gotta do this. Go. Jesus. It looks like Dresden. It looks like freaking Okinawa. Or not Okinawa, what's the one? Nagasaki. You know, it looks freaking just destroyed. And I mean, I'm not wrong. I think I heard this statistic. I'm not going to overshoot it. But like they've dropped 2 atomic bombs worth of explosives since October 7th. And it looks like it. It genuinely fucking looks like it. There's like literally nothing left. Nothing that wasn't like and even the stuff that you would consider permanent type shit is not standing, most of it. This is crazy. These pictures really freaking baffle me. The city, once bustling with life, now lies in ruins, a tangible representation of the ferocity of war. After 50 days of siege, we found this destruction beyond imagination. The city of Khan Yunis is a city of ghosts. Everything is destroyed in Khan Yunis. Carrying the remnants of their lives on their back, people headed towards what they hope will be safer grounds in Rafah and Deir al-Balah. It takes a couple hours of mental prep to go to the store. Jeez, good for Gabby. What is it that you need to do? Is there anything that we can do, me and or chat, to help psychically prepare you for a store incursion, if you will? Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna finish reading this. The war began with the Hamas attack on southern Israel. Oh, we know this. We fucking know this information. Don't tell me this information, AP. Reuters, whoever that was. Pause. Please pause. Thank you. Well, shockingly, we've landed on another Democracy Now! Video. That's really unlike me, so... You know. Just kidding. Yeah. Obviously, me and Democracy Now! Are like 2 peas in a pod. No affiliation, of course. Just a fan. This video is entitled, How U.S. Military Support is undercutting ceasefire talks and prolonging the war. Something I feel we all kind of know inside of us, but we're going to be enlightened by Democracy Now! Here for a few minutes. There we go. Go web go.
A Hamas delegation that was in Cairo for ceasefire talks has left Egypt, accusing Israel of, quote, thwarting efforts to reach a deal. Talks are expected to resume next week. Senior Hamas official Sami Abu Zuhri told Reuters that Israel is insisting on rejecting elements of a deal for a phased process that would culminate in an end to Israel's assault on Gaza, as well as ensuring the entry of aid and facilitating the return of displaced Palestinians back to their homes in Gaza. Negotiators from Hamas, Qatar, and Egypt, but not Israel, were in Cairo trying to secure a 40-day ceasefire in time for the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which begins early next week. With the talks at an impasse and only set to resume next week, that unofficial deadline for a deal appears highly unlikely.
On Tuesday, President Biden urged Hamas to accept the terms on the table and claimed that a rational offer had been made for a ceasefire in exchange for the release of Israeli hostages. Biden told reporters it's in the hands of Hamas right now. If we get to the circumstance that it continues to Ramadan, it's going to be very dangerous, Biden said. As the talks have been underway, Israel's continued its relentless bombardment of Gaza, killing over 80 people in the last 24 hours. The death toll after nearly 5 months of the assault is at least 30,800 killed and nearly 73,000 wounded. Meanwhile, hunger has reached catastrophic levels as a result of Israel's siege.
Wow.
At least 20 Palestinians have died from
That photo. Good God. Jesus Christ.
Am I Jesus? I say that.
Yeah, Omarosa's right, but that is just nut burgers.
20 Palestinians have died from malnutrition and dehydration, according to the health ministry. For more, we're joined by Tahani Mustafa, senior Palestine analyst at the International Crisis Group. She's normally based in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, but is joining us today from Doha, Qatar, where she's attending a symposium on Palestine organized by Georgetown University. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Tahani. Can you start off by talking about the situation on the ground and these ceasefire talks? Hamas is saying that Israel sabotaged the talks, and Hamas has left Cairo, and then we're getting word that actually some negotiations are still underway.
So I think negotiations at the moment are very precarious. We've seen that the ceasefire deal, or at least what is being offered by Israel and the US, who, by the way, have unilaterally come up with some of these conditions rather than actually effectively engaged with Hamas. It appears to be a very...
You didn't have the conversations. That's definitely how you negotiate, right? You just kind of tell people what's up.
This is from 12 Rules for Life.
Well, if Jordan Peterson says so. Thanks, JB.
Politically calculated move so that they can essentially point the blame at Hamas if this fails. But what we've seen in these proposals that have been offered is that they offer very little to both Hamas and Gaza. There is no guarantee in terms of aid, how much aid will be let in. Already Israel is claiming that they are allowing sufficient amounts of aid, contrary to what even human rights organizations are saying. So we've already seen that they are tempering with reality there. And there's also the concern, and rightly so, that this will simply, I mean, in terms of what has been offered, is a 6-week pause, is what Israel and the US is offering.
I'm sorry, what's happening in chat?
For Hamas and for Gaza.
Chat, you're going on a road trip? Is this not important? Just kidding. People want to go on a road trip with Gabby. Not shocking. Seems like a fun gal. On the verge of famine. To be fair, the place where Jesus was from has buildings built with Roman concrete. Ooh, yeah, Roman concrete. The best concrete in the galaxy. Although I feel like the Romans have said that some of the concrete, I don't know. No, let's not get into that. No, let's not. No. Fuck the concrete. Maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing in Palestine. Maybe Jesus has returned and they're trying to get at him again. Wow. Wow, obsolete. that is a conspiracy among conspiracies. That is, whew, theoretical mastery. Judeo-Christianity. Yes, indeed. Wait, which one's Judeo-Christianity? Oh, this one. Yeah. That's what we need, folks. That's what we need.
See that as a pause in the killing machine, essentially, where Hamas hands over those hostages, surrenders all the cards at its disposal, and then the killing machine just resumes.
Danny, could you explain why what's remarkable about these talks, one of the things, is that Israel is in fact refused to participate in the talks that were held in Cairo, saying that Hamas must present a list of 40 elderly, sick and female hostages who would be the first to be released as part of a truce. So could you...
And I know she's going to get in here, but I just want to get in here. That's ridiculous. Okay, I feel like Israel is just trying to create things that are either undoable or are difficult just to continue making the situation more complicated than it already is. And the fact is it's not that complicated, but if you're coming from the framing of Israel, it couldn't be more complex, right? Rather than just the fact that they're just committing genocide on people they were already committing apartheid on. And it's just it's annoying to me. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yes, we were listening to Democracy Now!
Explain what the obstacles are to revealing such a list and why Hamas is hesitant to do so.
It's not necessarily hesitancy. It's the difficulty in terms of trying to gauge how many hostages are actually alive, especially given that Hamas is not holding all of those hostages. So you know there could very well be hostages being held captive by other groups. Now, given obviously the difficulty in terms of movement due to the Israeli onslaught, it's made it very difficult to gather any concrete numbers, especially in terms of how many of those are actually alive. So it's more the logistics of being able to actually provide a proper confirmed list that's holding Hamas back.
Danny, what are the risks of an agreement not being reached next week? Because initially there were concerns that Israel would then go ahead with its Rafah invasion.
Next week marks the beginning of Ramadan. You know, for the last couple of years now, we've seen that Ramadan has been an incredibly provocative time. May 2021 marked the previous cross-border conflict between Israel and Hamas. And that had nothing to do with events in Gaza and everything to do with provocations we saw in places like East Jerusalem. If we don't see, which we're not most likely going to end up seeing, a ceasefire or some kind of pause before Ramadan, given the escalation of violence, given temperatures on the ground, you know, this could be catastrophic, not just for Gaza in terms of what this also then means about a looming invasion of Rafah, which Israeli analysts are warning is not a matter of if, but when. But also in places like the West Bank and even East Jerusalem, where Israel has so far claimed that it's not going to limit access to places like the Al-Aqsa compound, but we have seen in the past that it has actually done that, and often this has been very arbitrary in terms of the times and conditions that they've put in terms of limitations on access, but more importantly how that has led, especially in the last 2 years, to severe escalations of violence.
In a next segment.
Okay. That's all I wanted to watch of that. It's very difficult to interrupt these two based women saying very intelligent things on International Women's Day, but we must press on. I've got a whole bunch more to do here, so we are going to look at which video? Yeah. Okay. This is a pretty quick video from Middle East Eye, from Elon Poppy, the beginning of the end of the Zionist project.
I think it would be written as the beginning of the end
shit.
of the Zionist project.
Hold on. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. Got a bit of a slow situation over here. why must you do this to me? Okay, there we go. That's good enough.
And people who are good historians would remind the readers that the beginning of an end of projects such as Zionism is the most dangerous chapter in the history of a place. It's when the regime, the project, call it what you want, fights for its existence. And then it is very cruel, it's ruthless, it's very violent, more than it ever has been. So people would say this was the darkest moment probably in the history of Palestine, but it was it was the darkness before the dawn. I think that's what people would call it, and I think that they would look at it and would say, yes, these were terrible years, but they led to something much better that we never thought would happen, but probably will happen. I think the long term, not so much the short term, unfortunately, but I think the long term indicates that the basic moral, even I would say economic and military infrastructure that holds together the state of Israel and allows it to oppress the Palestinians is being eroded, has been eroded very significantly, and this is going to continue in the future. And there are all kinds of transformation in world public opinion, in the position of governments in the global south, that among the Jewish communities, that indicate that there is a good possibility for an alliance that would be more effective than in the past in helping the Palestinians to obtain their goals of liberation, of decolonization, and survival. In the main, it is a society that became, even before the 7th of October, more extreme, more racist, more unable to accept the humanization or the humanity of the Palestinians, and not very prone to any criticism from the outside.
Okay, pause that, please. Well.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. Good morning, Peace.
Another Democracy Now! Video in here. That's 3? That's a lot. That's a lot. Is it Women's Day today or tomorrow after midnight? No, it's definitely the 8th. Friday the 8th. So it was International Women's Day in most of the world this Friday. Well, all the world, technically. But it's almost wrapping up here soon. East Coast just technically ended, but it's not gonna be over until this stream's over. That's my thinking. Okay. Next, let's go over here. Let's watch this Democracy Now! Video. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but this is fucked. This is let's just watch this. I'm not even gonna just say it, Amy. You say it.
I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Over the past few weeks, the Biden administration has been publicly voicing reservations over the mounting death toll in Gaza, calling on Israel to protect civilians and allow in humanitarian aid. But behind the scenes, the Biden administration has quietly approved and delivered more than 100 separate weapons sales to Israel over the last 5 months, amounting to thousands of precision-guided munitions, small-diameter bombs, bunker busters, and other lethal aid. This, according to a new investigation by the Washington Post.
Only 2 approved foreign military sales to Israel have been made public since the launch of Israel's assault on October 7th, amounting to over $250 million worth of tank shells and ammunition, which the administration authorized using emergency authority to bypass Congress. But in the case of the 100 other weapons sales, known as foreign military sales, the arms transfers were made without any public debate because each fell under a specific dollar amount that requires the executive branch to individually notify Congress.
Weird. Oh, that's super weird, Amy. I wonder why. I wonder why they all happened to fall under that. 100 sales, you said, that all happened to fall under this fucking dollar amount that needs to be reported publicly? Well, fuck me. That's convenient, isn't it? In it, chat. That's real convenient. Sorry, chat. I've lost my fucking mind. Wait, what's happening? Why don't I have sound from my soundboard? Unacceptable.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Thank you. Back to Amy.
A veteran State Department official who worked on arms deals and resigned in protest of a push to increase arms sales to Israel amidst its assault on Gaza. Josh Pohl is the former director of Congressional and Public Affairs for the Bureau of Political Military Affairs in the State Department, where he worked for 11 years. He's now a non-resident at Dawn, that's Democracy for the Arab World Now. He's joining us from New Haven, Connecticut. Josh, welcome back to Democracy Now! Can you talk about the significance of this Washington Post expose, what we've learned about U.S. flooding Israel with weapons, as President Biden talks about saying he's putting pressure on Israel to let food aid in?
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I think what we've learned from this story shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. It is that the president continues to facilitate the flow of arms to Israel, despite a change in tone. We have certainly heard the administration call for more humanitarian assistance for, at least a temporary ceasefire. But at the same time, it continues to provide the arms that enable Israel to continue its operations. So I think that's pretty consistent, frankly, with what the White House has said, including John Kirby from the podium this week, that this remains U.S. policy. I think many of your viewers may be shocked to hear that there have been 100 sales in the last few months since October 7th. But here, I don't think anyone in the State Department will be particularly moved by this story. Much of the process does, unfortunately, move like a production line when it comes to cases that do not require, under law, congressional notification. So what we really have here is both a policy problem, but also a lack of transparency that is built into the system.
I would hate to be that guy. I know it passed by like 10 seconds ago, but like I was just thinking about it. Like, can you imagine being this guy who's got like lathe and operator skills, just making bombs one by one, thinking, okay, maybe he's not thinking this, but I'd be thinking this. Like, okay, how many people is this gonna kill today or tomorrow, whatever it's gonna be? You know what I mean? It's oh my god, deep, like no no lathe operator or whatever should have to consider the ethical ramifications of their work, but this one really puts it to the test. Oh my god. Obsolete Optics is full of Jesus jokes over here. I'm not even gonna start with that. You're killing it. Yes, and listen to the mods. Listen to the mods. They know what's best.
Congressional notification. So what we really have here is both a policy problem, but also a lack of transparency that is built into the system and which can only be remedied by a change in law.
Well, let's go to what National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said. He was questioned.
Do we have to listen to John? Let's not listen to John Kirby. We already know how shitty he is. We have to do it. Fuck it. All right. I mean, show me.
The White House by the journalist Andrew Feinberg, a correspondent for The Independent in Britain.
What is preventing the president from communicating to the Israeli government that if they don't allow aid, we will not continue supplying weapons? Why is that not a fair trade? No aid, no bombs.
Because the president still believes that it's important.
It's the most sensible thing I've heard all week. It's just so straightforward and to the point, factual. It's like, why not? Here's an idea. Let's play a thought experiment. Big ideas. This dude is basically like Sam Harris. He's an intellectual, but he's a real intellectual.
Arguably the greatest work of nonfiction of the 20th century.
Like, why not? Why not no bombs? Like, I feel like I've been saying it over and over again.
I got boxes full of Pepe.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna get through this.
A fair trade, no aid, no bombs?
Because the president still believes that it's important for Israel to have what it needs to defend itself against a still viable Hamas threat. Maybe some people have forgotten what happened on the 7th of October, but President Biden has not.
So, Josh Paul, your response both to the question and to Kirby's response.
I mean, there you have it. And I think the question could also have noted that under
all right,
U.S. law...
That's enough. That's enough. We've subjected you to enough of this horrible story. It is so gross to know that there were 100 more arms sales to Israel that none of us were told about because it was too small. There wasn't enough money. It didn't rise to the occasion. And it was just... It's just not important enough to tell the American public. You know how that goes, chat. Sometimes stuff's just not important to tell us about. You just gotta focus on the important stuff. Alright. Next video is an Al Jazeera video from, how long ago was this? About a day ago. Entitled, Israel Not Agreeing to the Main Demands, according to the Hamas officials. What? Go, web, go.
Well, a Hamas delegation has left Cairo without a breakthrough in ceasefire negotiations brokered by Egypt, by Qatar and by the United States. But the group says the talks have not collapsed and it will continue negotiating through mediators. Mr. Badram is a member of the political bureau of Hamas and joins us now live. So first of all, can we just clarify, if we could, first of all, your negotiating delegation has left the talks, but the talks will continue. How is that going to happen? And where?
In the name of Allah Almighty, at the beginning, the delegation of Hamas has left Cairo today to meet with the leaders of Hamas for more consultations regarding what's going on and regarding the recent round of talks in Cairo. It is clear that Netanyahu and the government of Israel are insisting on playing with all the parties, and they are not responding to the main demands, not only of Hamas, but of our Palestinian people, the necessity of reaching a ceasefire and the necessity of allowing the displaced people to go back to North Gaza and to go back to their homes, and allowing the humanitarian aid to go freely without conditions to the Gazans, and the reconstruction that will happen after the war. The occupation is refusing to accept these main demands of our...
Okay, that's all I really wanted to hit on that one. Okay, oh my god, that picture is crazy. But I'm gonna take a break from video stuff real quick to look at something related to all this. Oh, I forgot to fucking do this story. I guess we'll have to do that one tomorrow. That is going back in time. Cannot do that. Okay. This story here is from Al Jazeera. And it says that Israel's illegal West Bank settlement plans face global condemnation, and that is that 3,500 illegal housing units in the occupied West Bank to add to the nearly 20,000 approved in the past year. So Israel is currently, the government of Israel just very recently, over I think the weekend or something like that, approved a massive building project in the West Bank, which is illegal. It's illegal against international law. Israel's settlements have long been viewed as a violation of international law and a hindrance to Palestinian statehood by the international community. Officials say the latest constructions planned in Ma'al Adumim, Kedar, and Efrat are in retaliation for a February shooting targeting illegal settlers. Oh, Those poor illegal settlers. Jeez. Yeah. The enemies tried to harm and weaken us, but we will continue to fight and be built up in this land. Far-right Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, in charge of civil affairs in the West Bank, said on X. Oh, good. He's using X. That's a great platform to use for racism. All right. Next video. People have religious trauma. They do. They do indeed. They do indeed. Seems like everybody's got it. Maybe we need to chill on the religious stuff, huh, people? Alright, this is a Middle East Eye video of an Irish senator speaking on the conflict in Palestine. Not a conflict, a genocide. Excuse me. Excuse me. Misspoke.
And the last couple of months have been, I mean, I've listened to Amos talk about being insulted and offended. The last 3 months have seen the brutal murder of nearly 30,000 innocent civilians and children as a byproduct of the Israeli IDF trying to get to the terrorists. That I absolutely understand why they would need to get to the root and to try and wipe them out. But the disregard of innocent women and children and men in that pursuit is absolutely breathtaking. I think my blood is nearly boiling listening to the justification of Amos. Like, insulted. Get over yourself with your insult. 30,000 people, innocent people, are killed in the last number of months in Israel's pursuit to get to a small number of Hamas terrorists. And you've no regret. You've no sympathy towards the people that you've killed. It's nearly like they get in the way. And your justification is that Hamas actually used them as a human shield and put them in the way. So that's, you know, that's nearly tough luck. It's appalling, and we are appalled.
Well, how would you fight this war if you face an enemy that is aiming a missile at your own child, and that enemy is hiding behind its own population? How would you fight it? Tell me what the method is.
Certainly not in the way that Israel have done for the last 4 months. Certainly not in the way that you have done.
That's the problem. And in fact, this method of fighting the enemy, even if the enemy is hiding behind the population, is legal as far as the laws of war is concerned.
That's actually even worse.
Who knew?
That's even worse.
The laws of war that
Not the ICJ. They seem to think it's not cool. Okay. Oh God, wait, hold on. Pause. Okay, good boy. This is a TRT World video. This is going to be tough. This one didn't have a graphic content warning. I feel like it's much more difficult to watch than the other one that did. This is a video entitled Mass Burial for Bodies Exhumed from Graves by Israel Held in Gaza. I'm going to say that again. Mass Burial for Bodies Exhumed from Graves by Israel Held in Gaza. Now, let's try and get through that. Here we go.
From a shipping container to a mass grave. In Rafah in southern Gaza, a bulldozer moves Palestinian bodies by the dozen. This is the final resting place for just some of the more than 30,000 people killed by the Israeli military onslaught on this tiny strip of land.
Do you see? We are dying like lambs. These are mass graves. Muslims are dying. Everyone will be held accountable before God.
Scores watch as identical blue body bags pile one on top of the other. Layers of sand are then piled on top of them
horrific.
For another row.
That is fucking horrific. Seeing all those bodies in that bucket of this excavator is just, oh, wow. That is heartbreaking. That is a fucking heartbreaking image. Okay.
Lives. Children watch on. Little semblance of innocence left to protect in a place that has become hell on earth. Rafah was supposed to be where Palestinians would be safe, where Israel told them to flee as its military operation decimated the rest of this tiny enclave of Gaza. Instead, a looming attack here threatens at least 1.3 million people believed to be here, some 3/4 of all Palestinians in the Strip.
Okay, I think we get it. Okay. That is rough. That was rough. Everyday atrocities. Everyday atrocities. That's how I feel right now. That is what I feel like is playing in my head. Good God. What a fucking world we're living in right now, people. Okay. Oh my God. Oh. I get to skip 2 videos right now because we already covered both of the things that are in them. That is so satisfying for me. We're so much closer to celebrating Women's Day right now. We're so much closer. So much closer. Okay. What's happening? So much in chat. Jesus was probably ripped. Attractiveness is subjective. True, true. Very true. We are always learning. So true. Alright, this next video is kind of bringing it back to America slightly, but this is something that U.S. Representative Tom Fleischman? Fuck, I gotta look up this dick. Hold on. Gotta hold people to account. Gotta do it. Chuck Fleischman. Why did I think? Well, it's not that far off. Tom, Chuck, whatever, dude. Yeah. Charles Joseph Fleischman. He is currently in the House of Representatives from Tennessee's 3rd District. And this is what he had to say about pro-Palestinian activists. So brace yourselves, folks. This is going to be super woke. Crazy woke. Better protect yourselves, kids. Be CRT level woke. Oh, I hope the sarcasm's coming through, because no, that's not what's about to happen. Why don't you do what I want you to do? There you go.
Hey, free Gaza. I support Israel, I'm sorry.
Why do you support the genocide and all of the war crimes and collective punishment? Are you concerned about all the children?
Let me make it clear. Let me make it clear. Israel is our ally, will always be our ally.
Even if they commit war crimes?
They are not guilty of genocide, and I will support Israel forever.
You will
wow.
So bold strategy. See if it pays off for them. Even that's your term.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I did that over that. I meant to pause it and say...
So bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Probably will, honestly.
That's your term.
Even when they kill, that
is your term. Even when they kill 30,000 kids. That is a statistic. The Israeli people on October. Let me tell you a statistic. Yeah, please. Israel will exist. The Jewish state will exist.
That's not a
statistic. That's not what we're... And that is for God to do nothing to do with what we're saying. And I will always support Israel. Genocide, sir. I will always support Israel. And you can tell the Palestinians, I will never support them. I am a Palestinian myself. And I will tell you, I will never support you. I will tell you.
Wow.
You want my cousin.
What a garbage human.
This is from 12 Rules for Life.
Yeah, it's definitely from 12 Rules for Life. That's a given. This guy is full batshit crazy. FG, I love that one too. BCat is right. You're shooting fish in a barrel and getting mad at the splashes. Quote, Bassem Youssef, the based Egyptian.
Goodbye to Palestine. Goodbye to Palestine. We will support Israel forever.
So you are comfortable.
So just FYI, this guy just said goodbye to Palestine. Always support Israel.
So you just said goodbye to Palestine. So you are
goodbye.
This guy is gross.
Don't be creepy.
Seriously, Sofia Vergara, you're right. He's being creepy. So we're gonna move on from this. Yeah. Actually, no, we're not. There's only 8 seconds. There's like 10 seconds left. We're just gonna finish it. We're gonna finish it because fuck it. Because I just remembered we need to watch the rest of this because this guy is just gross. This is really gross.
Thousands of children.
The Jewish people will never suffer again under Palestinian terrorism, under Hamas, under Hezbollah. Israel will be secure forever. God bless Israel forever.
Thank you for
wipe Palestine off the earth. Yeah. God bless Israel forever.
What a douche. Terrible person. That is just, ugh, super gross. Oh, and juxtaposed to this next video we're about to watch, it is going to be even grosser. This is an Al Jazeera English video entitled "Thousands of Children Are on Their Own in Gaza." Say it once more. Thousands of children are on their own. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna click it and cry.
قبل كانت معي وجت انا مع المستشفى وقعدت معها في الاخر طلعوها في الاسعاف وخلع انا هنا حالي فبدي اطلع عند امي على مصر عشان اختي متصابه.
وهلا انت لحالك مالكش اخوه هنا؟
لا ولا حدا لي، انا والله ما بقدر اعيش، انا قاعد من حالي بس.
قاعد وين؟
خير.
For those of you that didn't hear it, the former, the individual we saw in the previous video is a representative in Tennessee's 3rd District by the name of Chuck Fleischmann, spelled Fleischmann. Wherever the 3rd District is, I have no idea where that is.
زمان
Jesus Christ. Hold on. I gotta read some more stuff. Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt him. Honestly, the words that were underneath that kid were less important than just hearing the tone of his voice, but I will read this. Children have been separated from their close relatives since October 7th. 25,000 children in Gaza are reported to have at least one... Wait, I missed... We went back. I didn't go far enough. Fucking hell. Sorry, chat. UNICEF estimates that at least 17,000 children... 17,000... Fuck me. Children in Gaza are unaccompanied. It's literally... Like, they've created a Lord of the Flies situation where these kids are just chilling. And... But, like, the aftermath of this cannot be good. 17,000 children with no parents or relatives? What the fuck are they supposed to do? There's no infrastructure in Palestine as it is right now. It's all been destroyed. These children's futures have been taken away from them. – 25,000 children in Gaza are reported to have lost at least one parent. Doctors say many children being brought to hospitals are unidentified. The destruction of public services means that families can't be traced. Even if they have survived Israeli attacks. Okay. I wanted to watch this. This is actually relating to a video that we watched, I want to say like a few days ago, maybe Monday, about a real estate sale that was happening of West Bank homes in Canada. And a similar one was happening in the US, where a lone Jewish protester showed up, and I just wanted to watch this because I think it's important that we hear the Jewish voices of dissent. You know, that's just my opinion, and so here we are. I don't know if you guys remember that that video, but it was very upsetting. You essentially had a number of Jewish men outside of a synagogue telling a man who was Palestinian that he could not come in to a publicly open real estate sale, which is illegal in most Western countries, because it's basically allowing for discrimination on race or religion. Okay. All right. That's enough context.
I'm Jewish. The reason that I'm telling you that I'm Jewish is because I have a concern about something that's going on in the Jewish community. On March 10th, there is scheduled to be an Israeli real estate sales event at the Keter Torah Synagogue. That event violates both domestic law and international law. We don't allow real estate events to be for whites only, for Jews only, for anybody only.
Yes.
Now, as Jews, we don't get to fly under the radar and break the law and hide it in a synagogue. It violates international law.
Nobody should.
Because West Bank settlement homes are going to be available for sale at this real estate event. On the website, it lists 3 different West Bank settlements. Those settlements are in and of themselves illegal by international law. If we allow this sale to go through, we are enabling a local synagogue to violate both domestic anti-discrimination laws and international law. Now, there's other reasons we shouldn't allow it, okay? There's a genocide going on right now. I don't care who that offends. More than 35,000 people have been killed. More than 13,000 children have been killed. People in this community are in deep mourning. People in this community are angry. I'm angry. What this real estate event is going to do is it's going to fan the flames. If it goes forward, there will be a demonstration. I know there's going to be a demonstration because I'm going to organize it.
Based. So based. Okay. Activists break into northern Gaza. And you're going to see that they're basically escorted by like IDF soldiers who are faking concern about the fact that they're committing crimes. Oh, I gotta read. I forgot this is one of the ones I gotta read. Fuckers. Fuckers. Not really, not. AJ Plus, I appreciate you. Just not ready. Just wasn't ready to read. I gotta go back. Thankfully, it's a short video. Alright. Right-wing Israeli activists broke into North Gaza. They are seeking to re-establish settlements in the besieged Strip. Israeli soldiers offered little resistance, and some were reportedly seen hugging the settlers. Crazy guys. We are here in Gaza. We're having so much fun right now, bro. Everyone's gonna come back. Everyone wants it. Even the soldiers are evacuating us. They really want us to be here. Everything's fine. Israeli photojournalist Oren Ziv captured the moment when more than 100 Israelis stormed the Erez border, crossing into northern Gaza. They filmed themselves stealing strawberries from Palestinian farmland. Oh, that's nice. Steal food from the starving people. Good luck. Meanwhile, a second group carried construction equipment into an area between the wall and inner fence surrounding Gaza. It's just gross. It's just so gross. But thankfully, for now, we can maybe... Wait, can we? Because it doesn't seem like my computer wants to. Come on, pal. For the love of God and all things holy. Oh, computer. Why? Well, having a couple of issues here, Houston. Please hold. Oh God, what is happening? Why don't you just want to load? That's crazy. Chicka chicka. Be my friend. What else is open that I can even close that's causing this problem? Not even running that much stuff. Just like a few. Well, maybe a few more than a few. Oh, man. Okay, chat. Well, this is weird. So I'm just gonna play some music here for a second while I try and figure out what's going on. Can't even switch scenes. It's like they don't want International Women's Day to happen. We just got to it, and now it says, no, you can't. You know what that is? That's sexist. I won't have it. Wait, is that fixing it? No, that didn't fix it either. Okay, that's bad. I'm gonna restart a couple of apps here. Too many Chrome tabs. No, it's not even that. It's honestly been acting like this whole time, but now it's gone full. It's just fully AWOL. Not responding to any of my clicks. I wonder if I can close the software and reopen it right now without destroying the stream. Well, chat, we're at that point where I'm going to have to try. So, let's see. Fingers crossed, chat.